Joining me right now is one flyweight rising contender, Gary Mangat. What's going on, Gary?
Nothing much, man. Just chilling out here in Vegas, getting ready to finish up my last week of training out here before we head out.
All right, before we get into your next fight, I wanted to talk about the Toronto Raptors. You're a proud Canadian. You were at Jurassic Park. What was it like out there?
Dude, it's wild, man. Just the whole scene of being in Canada and stuff. It was just crazy. I don't think our country has come together since Team Canada won the gold medal in the 2010 Olympics. It wasn't the Raptors aren't just Toronto's team; they're Canada's team. So it was just crazy to have to build our schedules around it, and be a game coming up. Everyone's so excited about it. It was a cool time, man. I hope there's a repeat of it again because it was awesome. We loved it. And this year, hopefully, going to OVO Fest, and that's going to be another victory party out there. So can't wait to check that out too.
Yeah, it must be great to kind of have that hype and have the momentum kind of bounce off them and onto you into your fight. Does it feel great, man?
Of course, man. It's exciting. It's just cool to see like I obviously represent a complete different demographic and stuff, but it gives you still the same sense of idea of what individual or a team can, what kind of wave they can cause for a group of people. That like we wanted to be just part of the moment, right? We don't play for the Raptors. We're not part of the Raptors organization, but we all feel like we're part of it. And I'm hoping that people that follow my fight feel like they're part of my journey. That's why I share it so much on Insta story stuff. So they feel like they're part of something. So when they watch my fight, they're kind of indebted, like they're emotionally connected to seeing me rise because they feel like they're rising with me. So I've always wanted to make it that way.
Speaking of Instagram, I was doing a little creeping on there, and I saw that you wrote in your profile, #1 Indian fighter in the world. What does that mean to you?
Best pound for pound Indian fighter. Like there isn't another one on my level. Whether you're lightweight, flyweight, heavyweight, doesn't matter. In any organization, I am the most decorated. I am the most exciting. I am the best one out there. And yeah, and just I think it's pretty well established. And I take great pride in that because I started this with no background and nothing. I didn't come into this with anything. And from having a dream of just hoping to fight on some local show like King of the Cage or something, to now fighting on the biggest promotions, and it wasn't even more so me that put that title. It was put on by other people. It was put on by one. It was put on by other organizations. So just having to live up to that, it also gives me a sense of pressure that I could put that on myself, but it's been put on me. So I take great pride in it. I think I've earned it.
Well, you did show your ability in your promotional debut last March. You looked, I think, in my opinion, I followed you for a while now. You looked the best that you have ever looked. What do you contribute to the performance you had, especially since you've been out for a year?
Yeah, I changed up a few things, and I kept the same formula for this one. Was that I came out to Vegas, and Vegas is just a different environment, man. Just like this time around, just the heat added factor, the training partner still high level, the amount of workload you do, the coaching, and then taking my camp to Tiger Muay Thai to finish up at so I can get acclimated. I also started working with a sports psychologist, fight mindset, Joshua Manuel, and he works with guys like Josh Emmett. And if you've seen Josh Emmett's fight, he's been knocking out guys too, and he contributes a lot of it to this guy too. So I do a lot of sessions over FaceTime with him, and we do a lot of visualization. We do a lot of stuff, and a lot of people don't know, or you might know that I was actually admitted in the hospital the night before the fight with really bad food poisoning. I wasn't able to hold down nothing, and I was about to be pulled out of the fight where I told them, listen, I'm fine. I went in there with an empty stomach, and I still had the best performance of my life. And I give a big contribution of that to the training that I not only was doing in the gym, but everything I was doing outside, the way I was doing recovery, the mindset stuff I was doing. I was doing a lot of altitude, training and stuff. I was doing altitude training so in Vegas right now, we're about 2,000 feet up already. which is almost like it's only, I think it's 500 feet less than Mile High in Colorado. Then I'm also doing altitude training, so added on top of that. So I do like this machine that causes altitude to be 15,000 feet more, plus 2,000 feet, but I fight on sea level. So my lungs are just on a different level. When I go down to sea level, I get all this oxygen. But during the camp, while I'm having to do this, it's really tough. And I think all those things contributed. Just a lot of heavy. I'm fully focused out here. I moved out to Vegas. I didn't move out to Vegas. I do my camps out here. But nobody else is out here with me. It's just me by myself. I'm fully focused on the task because I take this promotion and the level that I'm at very seriously, and I prepare accordingly. And it showed that night. And yeah, and they didn't give me an easy guy to start with, right? They gave me a guy who had beat the flyweight champ, gave me a guy who had fought the top two 135 contenders, including my teammate Abro Fernandes. So I think they were really testing me, just like they've been testing a lot of the new signees to see if they're worth the marketing, to see that they're worth the work, and hopefully I earned it with Chaudhry and all them.
Yeah, you definitely earned it, and it did seem like they did put a big test for you in your debut, just like everybody else, and some of the big names did not come out too well in their first fights. When you saw that, you were in Japan, when you saw those fights and you saw the upsets, and even Demetrius Johnson, he had some adversity in his first fight too. You know, his face was beaten up. I don't remember the last time he had his face beaten up in a fight, right? Even with Cejudo. So what did you think when you saw that in Japan, in Tokyo?
Yeah, it started with Eddie, and then actually I think it started with Andy Sauer, and then it went to Eddie. The Eddie one was the most shocking one. Then DJ getting caught a little bit, but like DJ still came out on top. But still, man, it goes to show you that people, if you don't know the name, doesn't mean the skill level's not up there. And I think that's what one's proven right now. Is that, listen, you may not have heard these guys in North America, but there's a lot of top level talent. It's not just in the UFC. And one championship, it has a lot of the top fighters in it also. So I think that kind of woke everybody up a little bit. It even woke me up, even though my fight had already happened. I already won my fight, but it let me know for future fights that, listen, man, you can't underestimate anybody. If you hadn't heard of them up until this point, that doesn't mean that they can't take your head off. And just like this guy that I'm facing on my next fight, I train like I'm training for a world championship. So the way I always approach it. It's the way I don't want to be one of those statistics that got caught thinking that I had an easy fight.
Yeah, speaking of the guy that you're facing next in your second appearance in the one cage is Abro Fernandes. He's one of the best coming out of Indonesia. Did you expect to face a fighter like him in your second fight, or were there other offers?
No, they actually had other offers, but those fighters backed out. And then they brought me him. And for me, I've never really, with them, when they gave me Tony the first time, it was just about it was just about what date. I didn't really get a say in who if I had another option. And then with the same thing with this one, it wasn't so much the option of picking who I got to fight. It was more so when did I want to fight him. And I had no problem with it. I don't think I will have problems with it. He is one of the best to come out of Indonesia, but that doesn't really mean much to me. I faced the former Cage Warriors bantamweight champ, and I knocked him out in the third round, and I don't really care. It makes no difference to me.
So it's safe to say that you will fight anybody. It doesn't matter where they're coming from, what level they're at. You're just trying to build your resume.
Yeah, you know what? This approach changed only once I got to one championship. And the only reason it changed is because you got to think about it. Up until that point, it's not that I was picking fights, but everything's a business, right? I'm a business. The organization I fight for is a business. And everybody's trying to get the most amount that they can get and get it at the biggest platform. I'm at that point now. I've hit the peak. I'm at the peak. Now I don't care who they put in front of me, because I know the millions of eyes that'll be watching. I know I'm going to be paid my worth. So now it doesn't matter. You don't want to take a loss at a smaller show and get stuck on smaller shows. That's every fighter's goal, is to get out of the small leagues and keep climbing, get to the UFC, get to one get to the big organization. And that's always been my goal, is to strategically get to that point. Now I'm there. Now I don't care. They can put whoever they want. You can put me in the flyweight Grand Prix. You can put me against Abro Fernandes. You can put if 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 Abro falls out, you can put another guy. It makes no difference. I'm there for my people. I'm there to represent them, and I know I'm prepared. That's why I do these camps the way I do them now. I also have leveled up on the way that I approach this. I don't. I leave home again. I leave home 6 to 8 weeks at a time. I come to Vegas. I focus on the task at hand. It's what it's all about. Then I go to Phuket to acclimate, because most of my fights are in Asia. And yeah, I do it the proper way. So none, guys, I don't see anything. Yeah.
How important was it for you to go out a couple weeks ahead of time to go to Phuket and get acclimated? Because, you know, a lot of guys only have a couple days.
Yeah, it's really important. It's also a part of it is a lot of the guys that I'm going to be facing are going to be from Asia already, such as Indonesia right there. He's already acclimated. He's already down there. For me, a lot of my fights have been overseas. I fought in Bahrain, I fought in Dubai, I fought in India, and my biggest issue is jet lag. It's always when I go 5 days out, even my corners that come with me, we have so much trouble just trying to wake up, trying to do the pads, trying to get our bodies adjusted, and it really, it's tough. It's tough. If I can get out there a week early, and I can still do a week of training, then by the time it's fight week, I've already been acclimated. Last time it worked wonderfully. Like, you know, I forgot. Like, I wasn't able to go to sleep till 1 a.m. and stuff like that. Not falling asleep randomly in the middle of the day. So it's very important for me. That's why I want to keep the same formula that I kept, because if it's not broke, then don't fix it, right? And we found something. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of coordination and logistics. But it came out with a victory, and last time it'll come out with a victory this time.
Now, of course, the title is the ultimate goal, you know, and there's a lot of contenders out there. Who do you think you need to face to get the title shot? Because I know you probably want to get it by the end of the year, right?
I'm really in no rush. I know that, like, obviously the flyweight Grand Prix is going on. They got to figure it out amongst them first. And then whoever wins out of that is going to face the 120, the flyweight champ. So I'm guessing that fight will probably be February. So now we're looking at March. So I'm on the outside of the flyweight Grand Prix. So I'm thinking I can probably get 2 more fights where whoever's not, because there is some top contenders outside of the flyweight Grand Prix also. And I think I'll be able to slip my way in. By the time that's all done, and whoever is the champ at that time, they will look to a contender who was never part of it. And I think I can be that guy, and hopefully we can take it to India. Hopefully I can make history, and we'll become the first ever Indian world champion in mixed martial arts and the biggest promotion.
Speaking of India, has there been any talks, any word about the event happening there?
There's just been rumors here and there that possibly 2020, but nothing is set. Right now, I think they're trying to grow the Indian talent. I do believe a lot of it rides on me also. They need somebody to take there where the people can, like, you know, embrace as their own. And I think that's very important also. So I think right now they got the Philippines, they got Japan, they got Thailand, they got all these areas where they can go to shows and sell them out all the time. We're going to Malaysia, which has a huge Indian following, which has been crazy. I mean, I'm getting messages like crazy from people that want to meet me. There's even a special section that's set out for me right next to the ring for all the people that are coming to watch me. And I've never been to Malaysia in my life. And people that they want to take me to the temple, because it's very important to me to go to the temple before a fight, and them to set up like a special kind of, we call it our das, which is kind of like, it's like a prayer that you do. And you usually have kind of, it's usually around somebody or something, and they want to do it around my fight. So that's crazy, because I've never been out there, and these people are messaging me, and like they want to set this up, and they want to figure out ways to come.
That's incredible, man, that you have all these opportunities now, you know, because other promotions would not do these things, you know, would not put out a section for you in a country and go to certain countries that you have certain demographics, you could relate to them.
UFC, yeah, like the UFC would have never done this. they missed an opportunity. They had an opportunity to get 1 billion people, and they missed the opportunity. One saw it. One is also the perfect promotion for me because I don't have to act a certain way. I don't got to trash talk. They also live by the values of it. It's a blessing that it worked out the way it did, and for me to I enjoy fighting again. I was losing a lot of interest, but once I went to one and I went and saw my first event in Japan, I fell in love with it again. I couldn't wait to get out there again. I couldn't wait to embrace the fans again, and it's because of one I fall in love with the sport again.
All right, one last thing before I let you go. You know, the flyweight tournament is going on right now, and I know you have a lot of interest in that. And the semifinals are happening in the Philippines, August 2nd. Demetrius Johnson is going to face Tatsumitsu Wada, and Danny Kingad is facing Kairat Ahmedov. Between those fights, who do you think will make the most exciting finals?
Out of the two fights?
Yes.
Let's see. I think DJ versus Danny would probably be, because Danny's kind of he's wild. He's not the most polished fighter, but he's wild. He kind of goes to the walls, and I think he's gonna have to kind of do something like that with DJ, who's so technically perfect almost, and that he's gonna have to bring that kind of random it factor that DJ might not be getting in the gym, of just his wild combination. But DJ figures it always out, man. He always figures it out. He has a genius behind him, and but regardless, I think that would be the most exciting one.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, because a lot of people are underestimating Danny, and Danny does have that wild style, and it would be something that DJ might possibly have problems with compared to Akhmedov. Akhmedov is a technician also, so he doesn't go in there and take too many chances. So yes, Danny is someone that could give some problems.
DJ's fought somebody what's his name?
Akhmedov.
Yeah, he fought what's the Russian wrestler back in the day? Oh, I forgot.
Bagutinov.
That's it. Yeah. So he's faced a similar style like that, and he handled it, right? So he needs something that's wild. It's kind of why I think the first round went the way it did with DJ in the first round, because it was wild, it was more explosive, it was different, right? And it's something that the Asian martial arts brings to the table. I feel like it's a different kind of fiber.
Definitely. Well, if your friend DJ makes it to the finals and wins the finals, and he faces Adriano Moraes, I think that is a phenomenal fight. Adriano brings some unique skills. He brings a unique skill set that DJ has to figure out, which is going to be fun to watch. Anyways, July 12th, Malaysia 1 Masters of Destiny. Gary makes his return back to the cage. Thank you, Gary, for your time, and good luck to you, man.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate it.